We're at the start now for the Town Challenge Cup, the Women's Open Fours. Northeastern University again, top of your screen, versus Molesey Boat Club in the black and white here on the bottom of your screen, the right-hand side.
Curious little line there from Northeastern off the start. It looks like they didn't quite get straight under starters' orders, and they just had to correct in the opening 10 strokes. Which when you're putting that much power down in the boat, you're really surging, then you have to really put on the rudder to make the change. And you can see there the umpire getting involved nice and early, trying to separate the crews, letting the crews knowing he's there, he's in control. He's warning them that they need to move apart. And these Cox's Fours, Jess, they're so difficult to steer. They really are complex boats. It's not only row and steer, and you can see there Molesey just struggling a little bit in what is pretty dirty water here at Henley.
So these boats here, they're steered by a rudder wire. So you've got a rudder underneath the boats alongside the fin, and the rudder wires are attached normally to the bow seats. Someone sitting up in the front of the boat, sitting, or the two seats sometimes, catch their foot, and that's how they steer. So this is incredibly hard. You're going flat out, you're going backwards, and you're steering a boat with your foot and making sure you're keeping in your lane. We've seen it the past few days, a few steering issues. It is hard. They're rowing against the stream here on the River Thames, so there's a little bit of natural water to deal with, and it looks though from where we are now a bit further down the course, approaching 40. Northeastern taking another strong lead as the town crew here come rowing past our camera.
Well, if you are tuning in from Boston, Massachusetts in the United States of America, the East Coast, I think it might be lunchtime where you guys are. Welcome to our coverage, and it's going to be a pretty sight for any fans of Northeastern University, because both their 8 and their 4 at the moment really putting down a marker at Henley Royal Regatta. Of course, these are two of the newer events on the roster for Women's Open Cox's Fours and Women's Student 8s, and you can see here Northeastern establishing a margin of control over this contest, and not one that looks likely to be relinquished.
Good shot there as you go down the boat from the stroke seat. Lucy Kilmer-Kennedy, Leah Schiegel, Grace Theobald in 2, and then up in the front of that boat, the yellow glasses you see there, Dalton Boys, 20 years old, studying at Northeastern, as you say, Tom. Boston, Massachusetts, home of the very famous head of the Charles Regatta. I've actually been around the Northeastern University Boathouse, and it is quite impressive. So anyone watching in Boston, I'm a little bit jealous of your training space. It's just around the bend from the finish line of Head of the Charles, and we know these rowers have exceptional facilities of training. They're probably frozen out of their water for quite a long time of winter season up in Boston, but right now in the middle of summer they are doing exceptionally well. Those facilities, that famous River the Charles, is really paying dividends, and they're doing well here against the Molesey Boat Club.
Yeah, one of the great landmarks that snakes through the beating heart of Boston. Really is a spectacle to behold. A bucket list event for me, Head of the Charles. I'm keen to get over there at some point and see how these women train, because these women from Northeastern University, members of the 2nd Varsity 8 for the institution and racing in the Town Challenge Cup for Open Cox's Fours. You would suspect, given the caliber we have, of course, Helen Glover racing in this event this week, you would suspect that Northeastern will face sterner tests, and Molesey just moving into the middle of the river there with umpire Matt Pinsent watching on pensively. It doesn't look to me like Molesey are going to find the extra gear they will need, several extra gears it has to be said, to reclaim any sort of parity. Alpha Walters, bow girl, just a little look over her shoulder. And of course, it's going to be difficult for her now, because she's got to find a way to motivate her crew, to keep her crew focused and engaged through the last 300 meters of this race. But realistically, this one is run.
Keep that distance as close as possible. It's going to be written in the book, because you're going to see it later on. People are going to ask you, what's the distance? You want to keep that margin as tight as possible. Hold your heads up now, Molesey. Let's see what you've got in this last 100 meters. Northeastern approach the finish line there. They hear famous beep to tell them they've finished 2,112 meters. They have beaten Molesey Boat Club here in the Town Challenge Cup. Heads up, on to tomorrow.